Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a review of Spartacus War of the Damned, Episode 7. So this episode really is quite a bit of a change of pace. It's all set in a sort of snowy wasteland as Spartacus and his men are trapped up in essentially a wilderness which has been walled off by Crassus. So what they've done is, as Crassus and his men have basically made Spartacus flee out the city, he's essentially gone up in a kind of like a snowy wilderness, and what Crassus has done is he's dug a large trench, which is probably, I don't know, 30 to 40 feet deep, and then on the other side of the fence there's like a gate erected which has guards on there. So the first image that we see are various slaves sort of being who have tried to escape, basically being picked off by the Romans. So this now is really Crassus's game, and Spartacus's men are really just living on borrowed time, as it would have you believe in this episode. So obviously conditions are very poor. A lot of the slaves are just simply dying of exhaustion and you know, basically freezing because it's particularly bad weather where they are. So it is different. It's a different episode to look at because obviously we're used to seeing Spartacus in this sort of like more of a deserty sort of like hot environment, and this one obviously it's a bit of a change of scenery. We've got all this the white backgrounds and everything, so it's kind of a nice episode to look at. Now, I personally feel that this episode was maybe a bit of a filler. I have to be honest with you. Basically, what happens is it's essentially just showing the desperation of their situation, and basically Crassus essentially solidifying his position around them. Spartacus's men do try to make a sort of surgical strike to try and take out Crassus, but it turns out that was just a ruse, and Crassus had already sort of anticipated that Spartacus would do that. So that's when you sort of see basically the action really of the show is sort of is concentrated on that sort of encounter. In that encounter, Naevia gets injured, and Spartacus manages to sort of save her in the last minute. What you've also got in this episode is really the sort of the tears are sort of showing in in sort of the kind of camp between sort of Spartacus and Crassus once again. Although they seem to have solidified it recently, they seem to now be at odds with each other once again, and they actually have a punch up in this episode. You've also got, again, the rivalry between Tiberius, Crassus' son, and Caesar. They sort of try to sort of outdo each other. So, you know, both sort of sides have that sort of like going on, but obviously Crassus' side is obviously really has the upper hand now. So you basically, with the subplot of this episode is really on Crassus' side. That the female slave that he's been sort of, you know, sleeping with, he's kind of basically wants to sort of leave in this particular city once it's all been sort of like, once the rebellion has been crushed. Of course, he doesn't know that Tiberius raped her last episode, so she hatches a plan with Caesar to try and sort of destabilize it, but it kind of doesn't really actually happen. But to me, like I say, it felt like a bit of a filler episode because not much actually happened. Now, as far as I'm aware, I've been reliably told by someone that, according to history, that from this point on, Crassus simply wipes out the majority of Spartacus's people. So in this episode, they do lose a lot of people. They actually say there's over 1,000 dead, but it's not really from battle; it's just from the cold. And what they do, they actually use the corpses of these people to actually make a bridge across part of the chasm that Crassus has built. And really, there's only a few guards patrolling that other side of the wall, and they take them out and escape. So that's kind of, the tables have been turned slightly. I'm not sure how historically accurate that is, to be honest with you. But like I said, I didn't feel it was really... It was an okay episode, but I didn't feel it was really move the story that much forward, apart from really just showing how the kind of at the end they're tethering and how sort of desperate the sort of situation is. Gannicus finally succumbs to the sort of the young brunette slave girl, and they sort of find themselves isolated in an upturned cart and end up bonking. So that'll be interesting to see how that affects his relationship with Saxa. But like I said, overall, I didn't feel there was a particularly much really happened to me. I mean, I think there's 3 episodes left. I got the feeling that maybe the next episode is called Parting, or Separate Ways of Parting, or something like that, and that's where I think you'll see the sort of the final parting of Crixus and Spartacus as a sort of cohesive unit. The next episode after that is called Dead and Dying, which, well, by the sound of that title, I think it pretty much means the defeat of Spartacus. And the final episode is called Victory, which I'm guessing means the Roman victory, if history is anything to go by. But we'll have to see. From what I understand, the creators of the show said they have been a little bit liberal with some of the facts for the sake of the story. So, although I certainly don't think you'll see a dramatic change, I get the impression that maybe we'll see a few characters maybe escape. My money's on Gannicus, but we'll see. Anyway, I pretty much give this episode probably a 6.5 out of 10. It was okay, but I've certainly seen better episodes. I didn't really feel it particularly moved the story forward all that much, really, and there was kind of, you know, apart from the bit where they escaped, there wasn't really much going on. So leave your comment, what did you think, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. See you later.